That's a very good friend of Elyakeem's Yahrtzeit. See, they ran the Shabbat program together at the JCC. Those are congregants of mine in the Bronx. Elyakeem came to the Bronx. That's Elyakeem's father. I have to meet the other family. I met the father tonight for the first time. Here's Elyakeem's father.
I'm going to start down. You're going to need to find a comfortable place to.
I'm going to put it up here.
Oh.
No? I'll turn it around.
Rabbi, my daughter will speak to you.
Yeah. Dana.
Yes.
And one start with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll say something and then I'll introduce. If I could have everybody's attention.
Yeah, at least we'll find the cover.
Daniel Cronengold, please come here. Daniel, you gotta stay here the whole time. I'm here. So welcome, everybody. Let me just shut. That's why I don't like doing it on Zoom. That's it. So.
I'm doing speak.
You need to turn one of them.
Sorry.
I keep turning it off. I'm gonna literally turn my phone off.
I have to mute it. Mute it. That's what.
Doesn't matter. Okay, thank you, everybody.
It's the full world version. He would have been a joke with that.
So I just wanted to welcome everybody, and I particularly wanted to welcome Elyakeem's family, who's kind enough, whoever's the American side of the family, whoever's in Israel, but Elyakeem's father, sister, niece, two uncles, aunt, brother-in-law, and I'm probably missing out. There's other additional family members, perhaps, that I don't know about. Cousins.
Maybe I don't know about it.
So thank you for really sponsoring tonight and just right away do this. And I just want to open it up, Elyakeem's father, to really share something with us. We'll hear from Elyakeem's sister and niece as well. When I first got here, the first thing I did is I met Elyakeem. That's like literally one of the first things I did. And he had a certain openness, a certain wanting to like learn and wanting to be creative, that it allowed the connection to him to share things that you wouldn't ordinarily share with people, because you know who's interested. So you don't share if people aren't interested. You don't share what's going on. But Elyakeem, when the first thing we did is we collaborated on a very creative project called the Sephira Trail.
Right.
And that was Elyakeem's, like, it was like his baby. And it couldn't exist. It couldn't have existed without him. And when he stopped being a regular here, when he moved on and went to Israel and so on, that thing just couldn't. It had so many moving parts. The first thing was the creativity that went into it, that he poured his heart and soul in. I was actually living in my apartment on my own without any furniture. And Elyakeem would come in and say, we gotta like talk about the spirit trail. And we would just talk for hours about it. And then once we got into the spirit trail, he would just say, he wants to understand, like, what am I about? And he would ask me these very big questions. And he would ask, so I would get me to think. And it was a very beautiful time. It was right in the beginning when I was here. He brought so many people together to make that spirit trail happen. The first few years that we did it, we had close to 1,000 people attending, but about 45 people who helped put it together. And Elyakeem was the main glue that got all of these different people to connect with it. And then that was the beginning of a very beautiful connection that he had to the shul, to me. And every time we did anything, he would think of the marketing, he'd think of the words, he'd think of if it was comedy. We had a comedy show that he named it Rabbis You Can Laugh With, because half the comedians were rabbis. That was one of the many things that he made, these cash Torah dollars, fake money, ahead of cryptocurrency. If only he would have had a little bit of different naming, it would have been worth a lot. But it had these like Torahs of the Baal Shem Tov, of different Rebbes on it. That was one of the many creative things he had. And each thing that we would do, he would have like a tagline for it. Maybe 50 little taglines for 50 different things. And we would make little cards for the Kabbalah classes. And we were more creative then. And it was a large part because of him and the chevra that he helped like bring in through that energy that he had. And I know the only problem was that Mr. Kinstlinger, Elyakeem's father, I don't know if I could share this. You met with me and you said, is my son ever going to make a living doing this? Remember that? It was a long time ago. And I said, yes. I said, he'll make a living because he's not going to do exactly this, but we weren't paying him very much. He's going to use these skills and he'll find a way to make a living. And to some degree, I think that was correct. But let's hear from Elyakeem's father, Mr. Kinstlinger, Abraham, that I know you very much, and we're honored that you're here tonight. Or stand, whatever is more comfortable. Yeah, that's fine.
During Shiva, I wrote a poem to my son, Aaron. I'd like to read it to you. Called Precious Elyakeem. On Friday, February 16th, 2024, Order 1, the seventh day, 5784. I blessed my quick-witted, beloved, spiritual, compassionate, funny, quasi-musical, loving, quasi-athletic, extroverted, caring, charitable, good-natured, wildly popular, studious, friendly, mystical, goofy, charismatic, empathetic, religious, handsome, creative, sensitive, optimistic, indefatigable, persistent, joyful, precious, Lamed Vovnik's son, Elyakeem Aaron Alexander Kinstlinger, reciting the biblical blessing in Hebrew. May the Lord make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord illuminate his countenance for you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord turn his countenance to you and grant you peace. And reciting my own blessing in Yiddish, translating. Have a good week. Have a healthy week. Have a fortunate week. Have a happy week. May you have all good things. May you be protected from all misfortune. And may God bless you. 4 days later, my quick-witted, beloved, spiritual, compassionate, funny, quasi-musical, loving, quasi-athletic, extroverted, caring, charitable, good-natured, wildly popular, studious, friendly, mystical, goofy, charismatic, empathetic, religious, handsome, creative, sensitive, optimistic, indefatigable, persistent, joyful, precious, Lamed Vovnik's son, Elyakeem Aaron Alexander Kinstlinger, died. After the Shiva, during Kaddish, saying Kaddish, I wrote him a haiku. Daily we on him, you and me. Kaddish makes three. That's our blue heaven. A few words I like to speak about them. I enjoy davening. I enjoy the cadence and the poetry and the warmth and the passion of the prayers. Their most exciting gift to me is that, without fail, over and over again, I recite a prayer that I have recited hundreds of times before, and it reveals something new, something beautiful and meaningful and personal to me. Gary and Sharon, who are here, know that very well. I used to go there to their house every Shabbos and tell them what I discovered the past week in the davening. Right? Absolutely. I feel like Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones of Tefillah. Every morning at Shacharis, before bracha, we recite the following paragraph. Elu dvorim she'odam ochel perosehem ba'olam hazeh v'hakeren kayemes lo la'olam haba. I'll be translating this. Elu hein kibud avaim ugmilos chasodim v'ashkomas beis ha-midrash shacharis v'arvis v'achnosas orchim nikur cholim v'achnosas kal amnus v'iyun tefillah v'avoas shalom in Adam lechaveru v'salmut Torah keneged kulam. These are the things whose fruits we eat in the world. But whose full reward awaits us in the world to come. honoring parents, acts of kindness, arriving early at the house of study, morning and evening, hospitality to strangers, visiting the sick, helping the needy, thrive, attending to the dead, devotion in prayer, and bringing peace between people. But the study of Torah is equal to them all. Clearly, these 12 types of behavior are the answers of the rabbis of the Talmud to the question, what is the meaning of life? Imagine, we haven't even started the brachas, and we've already reviewed the meaning of life. During my first month of saying Kaddish for my precious son, I had an epiphany. These words describe him precisely. Honoring parents. My wife Anita used to say that Elyakeem considers me God. He called me every Friday from whatever country he was in to give him the Shabbos benching for children. When I was in a hospital for surgery in 2022, he came to visit me at 4 a.m. because I was having a panic attack. He called his mother often and cared deeply for her welfare. He was our firstborn child. His sister Dina arrived just 13 months later. For the rest of his life, he yearned to spend time alone with his mother. He seemed to have special antennae for her feelings, and when anything or anyone upset her, including me, he made it his personal goal to tend to her, to calm her, to remove whatever was troubling her, to heal her. My wife, Anita, was in the United States when she learned that Elyakeem fell and was injured in Jerusalem and was in the hospital for surgery. She took the first flight she could get onto, and when she landed, she went straight to the hospital. After the surgery, she brought him to her home, to her apartment, and they spent the next 13 days together, Anita caring for him. Without question, he was in paradise. On his last day, Anita was about to leave the apartment when Elyakeem said he was having trouble breathing. She took him into her arms to try to help him, but he died within a few minutes. His mother was the first person ever to hold him, and his mother was the last person ever to hold him. Arriving early at the house of study, morning and evening. There is a reason why a kollel in Yerushalayim changed its name to Kollel Elyakeem. He learned Tanya there daily at 6 a.m. He cared for the shul and each of the people who davened there. He helped build an Ezras Noshim there in the shul. He created a program which paid people to come and learn and have a hot meal and to be ensconced in the spiritual camaraderie of the kollel. He loved the kollel and the shul, and he loved sharing it with others. Hospitality to strangers. My father used to quote Dale Carnegie, who wrote the bestseller, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and who said, there are no strangers, there are only friends I haven't met. That is how Elyakeem lived. A young man came to the shiva. He told us that soon after he made Aliyah, his mother died. He had just moved into an apartment in Jerusalem. He had no furniture. He knew no one. Elyakeem heard about him and came to his apartment and stayed with him during the shiva and brought him chairs and food and found people to make a minyan for him to say Kaddish every single day. Another young man came to shiva and he had traveled 8 hours by bus to visit us. I asked, how did he know my son? He said, I only met him once. And I amazed, I asked him, why would you travel for 8 hours if you only met him once? He said, because he changed my life. My son's specialty was making friends of strangers, which explains the throng of people from Hasidim to Amunawah to hippies who came to the funeral, visiting the sick. Every Friday, Elyakeem and Chaim Gavin, the musician, would visit a hospice and sing and dance with and for the people who lived there. And every week, the people that they had told them that they had willed themselves to stay alive another week as they helping the needy dry. Elyakeem, who it seems knew everybody. And wherever I was, in whatever country I was, in whatever city I was, people would come up to me and say, "Oh, your son is terrific, your son." Whether it was Manhattan or Jerusalem or Tel Aviv or Omaha or Teaneck, didn't matter. Always people came up to me. Elyakeem, who it seems knew everybody, made many shidduchim, some of whom showed their gratitude by visiting us. Together with the fruits of their shidduchim, their children, and telling us their stories at the shiva. The only person he could find a bride was himself. Bringing peace between people. Elyakeem hated negativity and arguments between people. It made him physically ill. Whenever he experienced trouble between people, he did everything he could to find a solution for the problem. On many occasions, he mediated controversy and helped people find common ground. Sometimes there were arguments in shul, sometimes in the base of measures, sometimes at work. He always made it a point to attempt to refuse disagreeable behavior and often succeeded. But the study of Torah is Elyakeem loves study. He studied Tanya and Chumash and Talmud and the Zohar. His mind was creative and inquisitive and spiritual. Wherever he lived, he brought Torah to the people around him. Decades ago, he organized weekly Friday night Shabbat meals for singles in Manhattan. There's probably people here who remember. Yeah. Yes, I remember. He sent daily voice notes to people about Torah and the weekly Sidra. He stopped people in the street and spoke to them about Torah. He organized Malava Malkus. He was a magnet for spirituality. I have to tell you, a great line. We were at Ina's house, sitting around the table. He was speaking about the parsha, the last parsha in the Torah, that Moses wrote a poem to Hashem. And I asked him, was it in iambic and pentameter? And he answered, no, it was I am that I am. Doesn't get better. 1 second. These are the things to scrutiny in this world that is full reward makes us. I have no doubt.
Nice.
Recording in progress.
Dina, Yakeem's sister, is here, so please give her your attention.
Thank you. First of all, really thank you all for coming. It's so cool to us. But I said we've heard about you for years and years and years and years. And we absolutely loved it. He used to bring, some people here remember, he used to bring my daughter Elya when she was just 2 or 3 years old. He loves this place so much. It gave him so much, and all of the people here meant so much to him. So thank you for always feeding him with your spirituality and love. And really loved you all. I loved being here and part of everything that you do here. And thank you to my aunts and uncles and cousins and all of my mother's best friends who are here, and all of the friends that he meant so much to. The amazing thing that we learned.
Mommy,
Mommy.
mommy,
These people came.
mommy,
Mommy.
mommy.
What?
I want dessert.
We didn't know the depth and that he affected so much. On what level? We thought, a lot of it was for don't worry, this is sorry.
We wait for you.
And that's what Elyakeem would do. He would just start out of nowhere, And Jeremy, before Jeremy, whoever's doing the Zoom, I've heard that. Can we ask everyone to mute who's on Zoom to mute because they can't hear? I thought I did. No, not you, not your. So people on the Zoom, if you could mute.
Yeah, just message them to all mute or mute.
Yeah, I did that. I didn't expect.
Yeah, see, like we were gonna be shocked to know how many people are interested in listening to this. Like, it's incredible how far and wide it affected people. We just didn't realize. Anyway. Yeah. And anyway, Jeremy, I just want to say a special thank you to you.
Kept his memory alive, false stuff.
world from all of the efforts and memories that we share. Really, everyone in here was more part of his life than you all meant so much to him. And as much as I am his closest family, you were also his family. So I just wanted to say what I had written about Elyakeem, which was when people ask me about my brother, I always told them that Elyakeem was the epitome of the wandering Jew. Going from one continent to another, one home to another, always wondering and wandering where fate would lead him next. He never knew how long he'd stay or when he'd go on his next adventure. He visited more Chabad houses in his travels than I can even imagine. Wherever he was, he made friends, and whenever I met someone new in the Jewish world, I expected that they knew my brother. And they always did. We were only 13 months apart, and we were very, very close our whole lives. My playmate and my confidant. You know, sometimes there's only one person who really, really gets certain things about you. He was that person that you have to explain everything to. He was there with me. We experienced everything together. We hid emergency escape backpacks under the secret doors of the stairs at White Place for a quick escape in case we ever needed it. His imagination was far beyond me. Always otherworldly. You know, my father used to see him just like in his own thoughts, and the next thing we knew, he's like got this whole story going on Mars and superheroes, and you know, it was just beyond creative. He often had superhero dress-up parties, which Miriam remembers, and he always, and I mean always, thought outside the box, right? He created his own cap company just out of college, and he called it Elyakeem Creative. Was his first email address. He was always being creative, and whether it was through Judaism or his ad campaign, it was nonstop. He lived at my home for months at a time, whether I was here in the city or in New Jersey, and at my sister's and at my mother's. I'm really grateful for that time that he spent with us, because we don't have any more, and he's such a big part of our children's and my children's lives that I know they will never forget him. All of the experiences about him. He was always willing to play ball and sing with Odelia and dance and take Pixie or dog for hours, long walks, and meet new people, and it was amazing. And new dogs. Because connections and relationships were so important to us. He spent his life repairing, creating, and building them, aiming to reach new levels with each person. We were actually at Shabbat dinner the other night, and how did Elyakeem know them? Well, he would run into this couple who walked their other big white dog, and he would walk with them for hours, and he would knock on their door and say, "You want to take a walk?" I mean, randomly. Anyway, so they really fell in love with him, and that's the only way they knew him, was because of that. And they were saying that they would just like talk to him about things because he was so easy to talk to, and it wasn't what were you saying? It wasn't like he was prying. It was
Curiosity.
It was curiosity.
Curiosity.
And like a child person,
Judgment. It's just
I think
interest.
this childlike wonder about
Yeah.
him that was very catching. It was also interesting because he would never commit to where he would be tomorrow. And dinner that night. Sometimes he'd get the curled up shul, or maybe he would get a call from Lawrence, or maybe this would happen, or maybe that would happen. So you couldn't count on him to be where you wanted him to be. So we had to get used to that.
Kind of like banter.
But he loved to keep his options open and be spontaneous, because that was so exciting and adventurous for him. His answer was always maybe, which could at times be frustrating. But he was completely committed to us, to my family, to our family, to everyone who's here, everyone who knew him. He was committed to Israel. He was committed to Torah spirituality and to learning and growing and reaching new levels. And he was happiest and at home in the old city with his people, and his people who were in Karlbach. He was truly one of a kind and made his imprint on all of us, and we'll never forget all the ways he loved us and shaped our lives. He seemed to soak up all of my mother's attention just before Elyakeemed him up to the Olam Haba. And we
hope that his lifelong work of peace and loving kindness will bless us all and all the people we touched across the continents. And thank you all for being such a big part of his life and for remembering him and sharing your memories with us, because he has expanded and he's grown in our hearts and in our memories because of all the stories and the things that we've learned about him since. So thank you all for coming.
Like, he used to talk about, you were a dancer in a company and he was so proud of you, he always talked about you. Talk about dancing, Elyakeem, I just saw a little clip of him dancing. This really, moved me, because his dancing was just so pure. But we're gonna invite his niece, Amelia, to share with us. And then brother-in-law. And then Lawrence. Boss.
I'm just gonna, I wanted to say what I had said at the funeral because I'm sure not everybody heard it, and it pretty much sums up everything. But since, as everyone's been saying, since I guess a year ago, we've all learned so much more about him, and like it's definitely kind of confirmed what I wrote here, because I knew Elyakeem as I thought I knew him, but it turns out that everybody says the same thing about him, which is how you know it's really true, you know? And so, yeah, and Elyakeem used to take me, like my mom said, to this shul when I was a kid, and I was really little, so I don't remember that much, but I do remember sitting on his shoulders, and I remember there being lots of music. Turns out I'm a musician now, so it makes sense. But yeah, so while we had many differences, Elyakeem and I had many similarities. I've met few people who care for animals and nature the way that I do, and Elyakeem was one of them. When I was little, he took me to the zoo. When we got our dog Pixie, he took her on long walks. Pixie also passed away, so that's why. All right, anyways, when we got our dog Pixie, he took her on long walks. He took care of many of my fish throughout the years when we went on vacation, and he took care of that. He was very serious about it. And even went with me to buy to a special bird shop to buy a bird feeder that I desperately wanted to put in our yard. And it's still there, and we were just talking like on Shabbos last weekend, I think. We were seeing the birds because it's spring now, they're all coming back, and we were saying, you know, Elyakeem was the one who took me to get that bird feeder, and it's still there. And so, yeah, like me, Elyakeem had a passion for music. He didn't care where he was or how he sounded or if the guitar was in tune. He just wanted to play and make music with the people he loved, and occasionally random people on the streets. Like, you're so loud, nerd. He was so happy to make music with me and so proud to show people me sing videos of me singing. Elyakeem spent his life making connections with people and nature. He was definitely the most spiritual person I have ever known and probably will ever meet. He loved to learn and share his ideas with everyone, opening up people's minds along the way. Every other person I met knew and loved Elyakeem. I will never forget the memories I made with him and the integral role I feel like he played throughout my childhood. The last time I spoke with him, we talked about how he would come back to America for my graduation. And as I transformed from a child to an adult, something unique I noticed when I was talking about this earlier today is how Elyakeem never lost that childlike energy and that outlook on life that we all always look for as we go through our own lives. And I can say with confidence that Elyakeem lived every day to its fullest. He was playful, attentive, selfless, kind, open-minded, and eager to learn. I think everyone could learn something for how he led his life. I will always admire his freedom, his bravery to live his life the way he found most fulfilling, and his commitment to the things that he loved most. I don't think I ever got to tell him just how special my memories with him are. Some of the things that remind me of Elyakeem are diners, which we used to go to in the mornings when we lived here in New York City before school. He would drop me off at the bus stop, school bus, and we'd wake up extra early, like 6 a.m., and we'd go to the diner and get, you know, pancakes or ginger tea, which he drank constantly, hemp seeds, which every single time I look at a hemp seed bag still, I think, oh, Elyakeem just used to eat these hemp seeds by the spoonful because they were so like healthy. health food stores, which he always took. Anything Kalbach, I really love that. 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton, which we used to play together on guitar. And so many other little memories that touched my soul, as he would say. I know Elyakeem touched so many souls throughout his life, and I feel so lucky to have had him in my life.
Thank you. Sure, he'd be so proud of you. I just wanted to say one thing. You mentioned the Chabad, and there's actually probably over 100 videos online in memory of Elyakeem of that Tanya class. But you know, I couldn't help but notice. Does anybody know whose Yahrtzeit was today? Elyakeem's Yahrtzeit is tonight. Does anybody know whose Yahrtzeit was today? About Abraham Brandmeier. It was very close to Elyakeem, so I just wanted to mention that. Ronan, you wanted to say something first? Oh, yeah, of course. Can't tell Jeremy, no, I mean, you can't. No, I really asked.
So I thought maybe we should do Makimi because we want Elyakeem to keep on lifting us up and Hashem should up.
Sure, this one works. Working, Mike.
I want to say, first of all, thank you everybody tonight. But there's no simcha with everybody. There's also no memory with us. Just this afternoon, Aaron's sister-in-law Rachel, sent out a beautiful picture of Elyakeem. If anybody who spent time with Elyakeem will know that at some point you'd have seen him do this. There's pictures of him, shooting a basketball with a caption saying, and so, or something to the effect, and so our first Yahrtzeit begins, or something like that. And I wanted to respond immediately, I'm not ready for this. I'm really not ready for this. It's been a year, and I fully expect you to come in and say, hey, for a million or something like that. So
He's here.
He's here. I just want to pose a simple question to everybody here. Has anybody ever met anyone more spontaneous than Elyakeem? Whether it was spontaneity for happiness or for learning, for joy, for running to, Rodef Shalom. That's what he was. He pursued happiness. He pursued peace with such honest, without no pretense or assumption, just for the thing itself, just for the purity of it all. And I don't know if any of you know, I mess around in the kitchen a lot. I cook. And Elyakeem was very big into watching how he eats, what he drinks, took care of himself. And so I've had umpteen conversations with him about food and the things that he likes to do, the quirks. As I was talking to him, he would chew on cilantro, fresh cilantro. Oh, so what is that for? You know, he would say, oh, it's good for this, good for that. He was always really interested in just keeping his health. But beyond that, there were many, many times where Friday night after everyone went to bed, we would just would say, I'm so focused. I'm so focused. Just tell you what. And we would have hour-long conversations about anything and everything, whether it was Torah, friends. It always revolved around some act of kindness that either he was participating in or he wished to do, or some sort of act of self-improvement. He always wanted to be better, to do better for himself, for other people. He can do more. I once told him, "Lo lecha lecha ligmor." You know, can't do it all, but it was never enough for him. But never with any pretense. It was always for the thing, Hashem Shemo, for the thing itself. That's why he did it. And that's what I found to be so attractive about it. There was no pretense. There was always pure love. Just love. Unadulterated love. And this above all is what I'm going to miss. It's very hard still. And I miss him dearly. We all do. And his memory, when I think of everything I just described and more, really helps me pick myself up because there's a certain strength to it. But I have to admit, sometimes I need that strength, and he gives it. And so, with that, I also want to acknowledge that man over there, Jeremy. I met Jeremy at the funeral last year. I know this is about Elyakeem, but if I were Elyakeem, this is exactly what he'd be recognizing, because this is the kind of person he is. Jeremy has spent this year, you know, keeping Elyakeem's memory alive in the most amazing way. He created up to 4 chat groups. And if I tell you there isn't a single day since last year that chat group is now blown up with songs and acts of kindness and everything Elyakeem was always referencing, you know, the Shem Elyakeem Shakespeare. And I want to recognize Jeremy for that, because through that, I think, look at what Elyakeem has done. The impact he had on people. So strong, and it's been over a year. So I want to recognize, thank you, Jeremy. And may his memory live on.
Amen.
Ain't Kemach, ain't Torah. If you don't have a livelihood, you don't have Torah. We all hear all these wonderful things that Elyakeem's love for people and all these, and they're all true. But he had somebody he had to report to make a living. That's like the most unbelievable thing. No, really? Elyakeem had a normal job? Well, maybe it wasn't. Let's hear from this Lawrence. Lawrence.
You know, so I worked with Elyakeem for over 20 years. I spent, Elyakeem and I worked together for over 20 years. Many days, 14-hour days together in the same office. You can imagine the despair when that person was not there. And of course, I benefited from the spiritual side. I'll give you 2 examples. He could come in, he would see I had a problem I might be worrying about in the business from time. He would say, Lawrence, it says in the Talmud that a man cannot untie his own hands. And it just calmed me down because I realized that, okay, I can't break this problem myself, I need help. And the second thing he would come in to say, he would just come in, looking, he would say, hello, winner. and reach that part, and I say that to my younger son now, and he says, thank you, Dad. There is a side of Elyakeem that I know very well that I'd like to share with you. So Elyakeem, we have a new intelligent dental journal. And Elyakeem walked through Jerusalem from dental office to dental office. He took notes on each office. And then he expanded the search to other cities. And all of those notes are on a shared Google sheet. Whether he's with us or not, the point is that level of understanding of executive functioning that you have to do the job and you have to put it together. And then I looked at it at one point, I'm reading through the notes, but this is this. Yes, a certain dentist, I said, the dentist says, IGI is very interesting for implants where the drill is at this certain angle. I said, Elyakeem, that's our guy. Because of the precision of the way he approached business. He had an MBA. He had executive management skills. He was a top flight executive. There's another time I was traveling. I left my son with him in Jerusalem for the weekend, and a young boy was over there for a year, and I get a call. It's Elyakeem. There's a smell in the apartment. It's 30 minutes before Shabbat. We're leaving. Not good to be here. And they moved hotel. He could be decisive and swift and make things happen. So I hope you learned from me about this top flight executive, and I've learned from you about his spiritual side. It's a devastating loss. We miss him. His smile is as bright as ever. And
song on folks, and we'll do that. And the truth is, the last few years, they were inseparable, the two of them. It's a package deal. We're gonna ask an uncle of Elyakeem, Marshall Siegel, to share with us as well, so. Welcome to come and sit down. If you want, I could have Jeremy back you up. I was just kidding. I'm here. Just want to it's true, so eminent, and I've experienced that all the time. We got together most recently at Dina's house, and he always behaved in this manner which is so warm, friendly, understanding, sensitive, responsive, it's just unbelievable. And he would pick up a guitar and sing all of a sudden, just spontaneously. And then he would wind up with a little Devar Hasidus. And it was really, really exciting. I pictured then that that was what he was doing as described wherever he went. And I've also experienced that with him. When he passed away, for some reason, I went through my text notes. I never look at text notes, but for some reason I figured, let me go through things. It wasn't because of him. I just wanted to go through and check checking things out. Came across it. I found something from him that he sent me, and I didn't really vividly remember that he sent me this text message all of a sudden a number of years ago, and it slipped my mind, and I didn't really know what he was trying to do. I didn't understand how it all happened, and unfortunately, I never really spoke to him about it. And I never got to the depths of what happened. But it goes to show me how personally he felt, even about me, that when he went somewhere, experiencing something, and he sensed that it was something that might be relevant to a relative or a friend, he would describe by other people. He would contact us. And that's what actually happened. He did this, and I must have passed it, or maybe we saw it. I don't remember before. But it turned out that there was a picture of him, and he said, "You know where I am?" And I try to think, it must be something related to the fact that I'm a scientist, and there must be a place somewhere that must be, dealing with science, because he always liked to chat with me about technical things, try to fill in the gaps of his knowledge of
the world. And I started thinking about it. This was, after he passed away. And I started looking at it, thinking it took quite a bit of time to try to figure it out. What he was doing was he was standing in front of the house, just like that. It was apparently in New Jersey at the time. And then it started dawning on me, and this was the picture it sent me. It was just unbelievable. You can see it standing in front of his house. I don't know if any of you would recognize it. It took me time to try to figure it out because it happens to be somebody who, in the scientific world, I revere, and very, very many people revere. And it turns out to be Albert Einstein's house. And it was apparently in Princeton for some reason, and it dawned on him, he has to take a picture of that because he knows that that's the person that we really think very highly of. Especially since we have a picture of Einstein in our basement, big picture. And anytime he probably went to the basement, he saw that because there are many reasons to go to our basement. So I wanted to point out how his mind was on people, friends all the time, who are obviously very close, his closest relative, or one of his closest relatives, and it just dawned on him to send it to me, and it seemed like just out of this world, and it shows to me the further proof of this beautiful person really felt for people and tried to deal with them and share with them their ideas and concepts. And it was always a pleasure to put them in. I'll never forget the last time was at the Davis House when we got together and this was our experience, which really proves everything that people have been saying is really I can pass this around. So this is Einstein's house. Where he lived when he was at Princeton.
Yahrtzeit was thinking about you. Sees Einstein, who comes to mind you. It's, we're gonna have some people from the shul community. Elyakeem.
I guess I'll sit since everyone's sitting. Is this where?
Is it on?
Peter here that you get justice.
It's not.
It's on. Peter knows.
I'm in the stand.
Yeah.
Hello?
Peter knows that it's.
Why not I understand?
I'll try.
Bracha, we can't hear you. Bracha. Hello? Hello, anybody?
And he was always so dedicated to his own self-growth and spiritual growth as well.
you could talk to him about anything, and he really listened, was supportive, and shared both his innate wisdom as well as areas he wants to grow in. Oh, is this working as well? We did some theater things together because I was always involved in acting at some point or another, and he also was very keen into that. So anything related. Remember being with him at an out-of-town play in Baltimore through 24/6, the theater company, Jewish the show Shabbat Theater Company, which is called 26. And at the Carl Shul, we did, the Purim time is coming up, and we did Purim fields, and I had written a rap called Megillah Rap, and he accompanied me with beatbox and movements, and it was just amazing. He really made things come alive always. And I have a gathering once a year, and during COVID it was on Zoom, and the last time he was able to attend it, he stayed for 4 hours. There was no one else from all my dedicated friends and acquaintances, and just he was there speaking to the entire time. There was a retrospect that maybe he had some sense of his here in this level. And it's recorded, so that's a miracle. He was always so connected with not just but also in terms of his own spiritual growth, and that might be one of the reasons that maybe he didn't up until that point meet his what people call soulmate, but I think it was because he had such an elevated spiritual nature that I think his soul was his soulmate. And now he is in the right place for him. He's in a place up there with no boundaries, just like him. It feels radical. And I want to also mention that we were involved in an online play reading. I have been doing this for a few years. Holiday season, Wonderful Life. There's a wonderful theater company that put it together, and people got assigned random spots, and everyone felt like a community. And this is just right out Elyakeem's alley. And I had a large part and a couple of small parts. And suddenly he was in town. So I asked him if he wanted to be involved in this. So I gave him my small part. And he was just like that. But I don't think this was happenstance. I think that anytime Elyakeem was anywhere, there was an innate reason why. And the play, which is very famous holiday movie, It's a Wonderful Life. I don't think it was accidental that he was. That was the last theater experience I had with him, and it just felt so fitting. Mostly everyone knows the story to It's a Wonderful Life. And he was so much like the hero in It's a Wonderful Life. He was always helping others and has always had great ideas, and spiritually tuned in and into self-growth. It wasn't until after he passed away that we all, there's probably not a one of us who has not grown from the experience with him, but also there's so many things we didn't know. We had no idea that he did all these things all over the place. But his nature was so fluid and so humble and spiritual. He what he did because it was the spirit that was guiding him. And so we didn't learn about a lot of the amazing things that he did until after his passing, sort of a Rich Schroeder kind of figure. And, it's interesting, in the folk music world, we say, well, what is peace? In this world, when we don't know how to deal with life or what's the next step or where we need to put our energy, we need to ask, what would Elyakeem do? And now that's going to take you in a great direction. In terms of what came from my own experience, that I thought was important, one of the areas that we had in common was, kindness and community have always been very important to me. So in terms of my life, something that I try to do is to start my day off with an act of kindness. So I'm just passing that on to anyone who wants to try that out. It really energizes your spirit to do that, and it really helps a lot of people out. So that's just one of the million things that Elyakeem did that might be something I want to do to continue his his way of life. So based on his involvement in the living of It's a Wonderful Life, I just want to say for sure, Elyakeem, you were meant to be in that. You had a wonderful life and made it so beautiful for everyone that you ever encountered.
Elyakeem's father mentioned the Shabbos dinners that Elyakeem organized, and his partner Theo in that Shabbos, what it was called, the new Shabbat table. To share a little bit with us. So. By the way, Theo is a lot of Elyakeem energy. If you want to see the closest thing to Elyakeem, the way he would dance on Shabbos morning, Theo preached Elyakeem's like ruach with dancing. They used to love to dance together.
A little bit. I would think of Elyakeem as my friend, and or both were trying to figure out how to live in a very spiritual way. And we're both trying to figure out how to live in a very spiritual way. We came up with this idea, and we invite people to come and speak and talk about what called their personal Torah, like their personal Torah. And we invite all kinds of people, usually not rabbis. And we had some amazing events. Elyakeem always found that people always amazing, so many things. And so many of you who could speak. Our very first guest, we had somebody who didn't speak. I wanted to have an imam. I remember that. When they had to teach about the partial belief in their Torah. I'm sure this was such a good idea. But he was a president. It turned out to be a great thing because of that. They let us do it in JCC. Some wonderful speakers, and I learned so much. And getting better and better. Really. One of the things that always struck me about other people is trying to figure out, like, with his past life, what the future, what he wants to do. He didn't want to talk about that. He wanted to talk about God, and he wanted to talk about now. And he really lived, like, so presently in the now. He was just amazing. Judaism, and usually I would say, oh, was to get again. At the end of the evening, I would headache, into the finger. I would try to walk up the headache, and he would put his hand on my heart. And it was like such a thing. It always worked. Like, it was just to have this. Really an amazing guy, and he really, changed my life in so many things.
That's why he left us what he did.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's like he's still here, that's all I feel. Like, what do you mean?
It's so abrupt, like you weren't.
Yeah, he left without saying goodbye, so it's like he's still here.
He's still here. Yeah. It's always like, he wouldn't talk that much about his other parts of his life. I remember when you did your last, that you wanted really to bring people in. You have to come.
It was like, that was so amazing.
But he had this way of like capturing the specialness. We walk down the street after these dinners and he'd see like a homeless person on the street and he would stop them to bless them and talk to them. And it's amazing. We had food left over. I'd be like in a hurry to get home and he would like talk to them for an hour. Beautiful spirit. It's just so full of help. I learned so much. So modest.
Blessing.
Very good blessings, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you really did. I was always surprised to like how many times like you come up with an idea of something we should do together. You'd be like, we should go see this person right now. We go. It was really beautiful. So, anyways, and through it, I got to meet them. It was a big connector. Yeah, sure. So sorry that he's gone. And he's with us all.
Sure. I'm keeping an eye on it. It's not.
Princess on the P. It gives a little history about. What we ever. I don't think. We're gonna have one cash Torah. That's for my favorite. Literally cash Torah.
Is mine
Roberta's gonna-
muted, by the way, right?
What this is. Cash
It's
Torah.
muted.
So I want you to know that Elyakeem is here in this room right now. And as I was leaving the house tonight, one of our really good friends, Jody, said, I'll drive you. I'll drive you in because I live on the mountain. I gotta come. What the other mic here? Is this better?
No.
No. How about if I just talk loud? Is that good?
Yeah.
And we're great.
So I just. Up here, is this good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Elyakeem has been my friend since he started coming to the Kava Shul. And one of the things that he did was he gave everybody, whoever he met anywhere, a cash Torah. You can see this little, it's like a dollar bill with a cash Torah. What does that mean? You don't want to give them a long Dvar Torah. You want to give them something to hold on to forever. And he was giving out these cash Torahs everywhere. And every time he'd give me one, I'd hang it up in my kitchen in a different place. So I had one in the refrigerator, one is right up where I wash the dishes. The whole house is filled with cash Torahs. And as I was running out today, I said, I'll just bring one of those cash Torahs with me so everyone can see what this was. But you can see what he was doing. He was spreading the words of the most amazing Rebbe's in ways that we never would have been able to reach them for about one little sentence. So I want to read you this one. He loved Rabbi Nachman. He said, he would say, the best present you can give people is to give them back their self-confidence. Wow, and that's what he did for everybody. Wherever he went, he was giving people their self-confidence, helping everybody to feel like they were $1 million, not just one little, this was really $1 million cash Torah. So may we all be blessed, all of us who are here, and all of Elyakeem's friends all over the world, we know they're everywhere. He's thinking about everyone. He's blessing all of us. If you need any help of any kind, call on him. I talk to him all day long. But just know, he and I in kindred spirits. I asked him a million questions. He asked me a million questions. We had the best times together everywhere, no matter where we went. And I have to say, I was so blessed. This is the my last event with him. It was right after the hostages were taken hostage, and I was in just me and him. There were big stand they were doing for all the hostages. And we said, let's divide it up. We're gonna say every time we see the word simcha, which means joy, and the words of
we're going to do something to send joy to the house. Now, if you know about Ecclesiastes or from Helen, it's, everything is Hevel Hamalim, vanity of vanity. But you know what? We found like 20 different places where the word simcha was. Every time we found simcha, we got up and we started dancing. And we said we're going to send all the energy over to the hostages. So that night we were singing. And we're singing. It should only be simcha li'atzacha, and for every bless. Keep sending the energy out everywhere. He's sending the energy. I'm getting it right now. L'chaim, l'chaim. And yeah, there's something happening over there. And then we have to
So 10 p.m. mark is downstairs. Those who need a little more time on the stairs should start getting up and heading down. Those who are quicker, stay for 2 minutes. Oh my gosh,
But that was that.
Yes, you're right. Good. Where's Peter? I don't know where Peter is. Thanks for the comment.